Welcome to another great episode of Real Life Matters. I welcome all the viewers today that are watching, everybody that's watching. I have a very special guest on today, and he was in one of my first episodes when I first did my show, and he's from New York, and I'm so happy to have him on and come back again. So I can't wait to see what he's doing, what he's up to. I know it's the COVID, everybody's locked down and everything else, but I'm trying to bring to you the best entertainment and edutainment we have. So with no other further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Luca Brassy.
What's going on, everybody? Pal.
Yeah, you're only good if he's viewed by 12 million people.
Hey, you know something? I got a message for each and every one of them. So
you got a message? So Luca, you're a hip hop artist. You do rap, and so what inspired you to start to do that business?
Well, yeah, I've told you before, a long time ago, way back when I was doing professional wrestling, and I had my own school and everything with my father, my own business, and I was powerlifting at the time and doing all sorts of stuff. But my wrestling career kind of ended unceremoniously, prematurely, before I was ready for it to end. And I wasn't a very happy person. I was about 18 years old, and I was pretty angry. And so one day I just started writing. I just started writing stuff down, not all of it was good, things that I wanted to do to certain people. And, I was young, so I had a lot of anger in my head going on, but, I realized that not only was it actually helping me get stuff out there, but I was actually pretty good at it. And so I realized at that point, I was like, okay, what I need to do is I have to find something that I love just as much or more than I did the wrestling business. And that's kind of when I started getting into music. Then I met my producer, Jay Green. Shout out to Jay Green. And things kind of just went from there, and then I've been doing it ever since. So it's been, I've been in the entertainment industry total since I was about 13 years old. So it's been 22 years I've been in this industry, entertainment and stuff. So, but yeah, that's how I got started. So pro wrestling led me into my music career. So, thank you.
Yes, and you put a lot of your own money into your career, because a lot of people, and I remember when you talked to me before that a lot of people, they don't want to put their own money in, but your family supported you on that, right?
Yes, they don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that, especially in an industry like the music industry and I shouldn't even just classify music, just the entertainment industry as a whole. You have to be willing to invest in yourself, because if you don't, then nobody else will. But I noticed that when I put in the work, when my people saw what I was doing, they were actually willing to say, hey, let me help you out a little bit. You know what I mean? Not everybody, you know what I'm saying? But my closest people always said, as long as you're putting in your end and you're putting in your work, we're down to help you out, so, but you have to be willing to invest in yourself. It's very important for anybody listening. Invest in yourself, time and money.
So what do you have? Do you have any special advice to tell anybody that's trying to come into the industry that's new and, they don't understand how to go about this business? Do you have, what advice can you tell them? Because some people think it's just, I'll just get somebody, I'll just mix my own stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which a lot of people are doing now, and making your own music, releasing your own music. It's easier now than ever before. The only problem is now, because it's so easy, the market is oversaturated with a lot of it isn't even good music anymore. People are just releasing stuff. It's not mixed, it's not mastered. They're just putting stuff out there on platforms, and you can kind of get lost in the mix really easy. So my biggest thing, and I always tell people this, my first thing of advice is first understand why you're doing it. Okay, are you doing it because you love it? Are you doing it just because you want to make money? And there's really no wrong or right answer there. Okay, but if you get into the industry and your main goal is just to make money and profit off of it, stay out. Don't get involved, because you're going to end up very disappointed unless you're so talented that someone just picks you up right off the bat, and that doesn't happen anymore. So you need to have a following. To get the following, you have to, first of all, know why you're doing it. Make the music. Make music that not only you can enjoy, but everybody can enjoy. You know, find your niche and invest in yourself, you know, and to get started, just do it. Pick up the pen and start writing. That's how you get started. That's how I got started, you know, and then I had a little karaoke machine in my bedroom that I know I'm acting like it's right now.
You still have it?
Yeah, no, I still have the karaoke machine. It is not right here like I just acted like it was. But yes, I do still have it. It's up. It's in storage. It's old. I got it for a Christmas present when I was probably about 10 years old. And I had never really used it for much of anything. And then when I started writing, I thought, hey, I can record. I didn't know any studios or anything. And I was like, hey, I can record on this cassette to cassette and practice. So that's what I started doing was like I would just put a beat on and I would just take the mic and I would just read from the paper. And that's how I would get started. And I would listen to it back. And then I would do it again. I would erase it, do it again, do it again, do it again. And then one day I just happened to, and then you'll find that things will just kind of start to fall into place. You'll start like that. You won't be doing that for too long because what's going to happen is you'll start that way, but then your ears are going to start to open up to things around you, the things that you didn't listen to before, like local music talk. Like you'll hear people talking about things like if you're in school and you're just walking past, if you're in college and you just started writing, this is exactly what happened to me. I was walking down the hall and I got in an elevator. And I had just been recording on karaoke and doing my writing and stuff. And I get on this elevator in school and I overhear this guy talking to this woman about, I just helped so-and-so release a mixtape last week and we're going to do another one next. So when that opportunity presented itself, I didn't really knock on the door. I sort of kicked it down and I nudged in on the conversation. And I was like, well, who are you? What do you do? And that he told me my name's Jay Green. And we shook his hand and I've been working with him ever since. And that was in 2004 when that happened.
Wow. So who have you worked with in the industry? Because you know you've done so much stuff. You've acted. There's people out there that don't know Luca Brassy. He's done a lot.
I'm really, really invested in the community as far as like that kind of stuff goes. So I've met a lot of big names. I've met a lot of professional wrestlers. I've met a lot of artists, rappers, singers, and stuff. And with pro wrestling, going back to pro wrestling real quick. I did have the opportunity back then to wrestle, and some of you guys might be who are listening right now might know who these people are. Tony Atlas, which was Mr. USA, and he was also a pro wrestler back in the 80s with Rocky Johnson. And Doink the Clown, okay, a lot of people might know who Doink the Clown was back from like 93, 94. Had a chance to wrestle him. And Tony Mamaluke and Crowbar, and like I wrestled some big names. And then as far as music goes, it was a lot different when I got into music because musical artists, like big music artists, usually they'll charge a lot of money and stuff, you know what I'm saying, for collaborations and things like that. Unless you're already well known, you know what I mean? And then it's a little bit different. So I've done mostly the music that I've made has been support with the local community or just by myself or people from overseas. Like we talked about a little bit last time, the South Africa, West Africa deal that I had going on there. And then I work closely with Valerie Denise Jones. Some of you guys might know who she is from Blog Talk Radio. I work closely with her. She's the one that gave me my podcast, Brassy's World, Sunday nights, 8 p.m. 516-666-9834. Got to tune in.
That's right. He has his podcast too. God.
Yeah, anybody listen, if you want to be a guest, if you got a story to tell, a business, something you're trying to do, just an interesting story, or if you're some kind of, I've had athletes, doctors, artists, music, everything. I've had all kinds of people on the show. So I'm really willing to take, similar to you, DBoss, anybody with a good story.
Your story is good. So I know in your videos you always put you got a lot of known people in your videos that when you create your videos and stuff like that. So what was the process like? When you create, I know when you did Magic, you said that you infused. The guy was from Africa. What part of Africa was he from?
He was from I think it's called Senegal, West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys, you did that during the COVID, right?
We started really pushing it kind of during the COVID because we had recorded the record actually right before COVID started, almost right before, and then we still had to shoot the video. So the video was shot like sort of right at the beginning of the COVID thing, you know what I mean? And everything happened. That whole record kind of happened right before COVID started. But the interesting thing was recently I had reached out to some local newspapers and places like that around here, and my father taught me a long time ago, back when we were wrestling, look at what you got. He's like, no matter what you have, he's like, you have something. He's like, you have a hook. He was like, just take a look around you, look at what you got, and think of what kind of story can you come up with, like out of what's presented to you in front of you. And I always remembered that because, going back to pro wrestling again, at one point we had a 56-year-old man wrestling and we had a 13-year-old girl wrestling. And my dad looked at that and said, these are generations, two different sexes, generations between them brought together by pro wrestling. That's a story. And Channel News 9 bought it. And we ended up getting on the news just because of that dynamic.
Wow.
And so it was little things like that I saw him do in that business where I'm like, okay. And so I applied it to music. And so when I looked at what I had in COVID, where there was really not a whole lot going on, because for those of you who might not know this, I'm sure you do, but the entertainment industry, especially the music industry, people going on tour and stuff, got hit really hard with this COVID deal.
Yeah.
So the industry almost basically, it was kind of like the holidays, how the music industry shuts down around Christmas time for a few weeks. It was like, that's kind of what happened. So anyway, so there wasn't a whole lot that people could do. So I said, it's really interesting. I was like that. I've never met these people over there in South Africa, and they've never met me. But when you listen to the song and you watch the video, it looks like we're right there all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're in different parts of the world. We're in totally different countries. But somehow through technology and through the desire to do music, we were able to, make something special, make magic, literally. So anyway, so when I presented that to one of the papers around here, I was like, listen, this is my story. This is the deal. And, I just was wondering if you'd be interested in doing something with that. And she was like, I think that's fascinating. She's like, you've never met. She's like, and you are able to make music like that from videos and piece it together. And she was like really interested in the process. And so we ended up getting a nice little spot in like the papers and stuff, but I'm always trying to think of like what I have that I can not so much use to my advantage, because I believe that everybody is meant for a very, very specific purpose. You know what I mean? But how can I use what's around me to continue to do what I'm doing and bring messages and help other people?
All right. Well, we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be back more with Luca Brassy, and we're going to talk a little bit about his business. So just stay tuned.
Looking for a TV show that brings you a raw, uncut, unbiased opinion? What about a show providing a platform to tell us about your business or talent? Tune in to Talk It Out, Monday through Friday, hosted by Chill of Come Clean Empire and its co-host, DBoss, where we bring you not just a TV show, but a TV experience.
The eyes and ears of the Caribbean. Carib Vision.
Welcome to Real Life Matters. I'm your host, DBoss. Real Life Matters is a power-packed, inspired program that brings you real people with real matters. If you're a company, brand, or artist, we will take you to the next level. Watch Real Life Matters Monday to Friday right here.
Rhythm.
Blessed love from Barbados, or as we so beautifully like to say here on the island, what going on, lovely people? I'm Bugging Kente, the spirit of the people. I'd like to welcome you to the Rhythm Caribbean Top 10 Countdown, bringing you some of the hottest artists, songs, and videos from across the entire Caribbean. So stay tuned.
Rhythm.
So mass torts are any sort of lawsuits that affect people harmed by products. And so my job here is to lead up the investigations on those products and also help our team, manage our team that answer the phone calls when our clients call in every day and fix our clients' problems and help them guide the case managers with the issues that they're having with our clients or with the defendants.
Girl, let me wine on you. Girl, let me wine on you. Let me wine on you. Yeah, I'm catching fever, a fever, running on you. Don't wear your body and coiling, girl. I'm not toying with you. I'm a believer, receiver, taking from you. Here's what I wanna do. Girl, let me wine on you. Let me wine on you. Girl, let me wine on you. Push back and let me wine on you.
Well, we're back here with Luca Brassy, the rapper, entrepreneur, podcaster, and a personal trainer. So we want to touch you on your business of personal training, and it's called, Vent Fitness, right?
Yeah, currently I work at Vent Fitness here in upstate New York. But like a lot of other businesses with COVID, especially businesses like hair salons, gyms, and movie theaters, gyms got hit extremely hard.
Wow.
However, a lot of us trainers, without getting too deep into what's going on, ended up doing better actually when COVID happened, when the gym shut down. I, for one, was able to stay up on my own workouts. Obviously, it's very important. And that's the one thing. Anybody who's listening who might want to become a personal trainer, there's only one thing you really need to be able to do to get started in that. And that's really simple. And you need to be able to self-motivate. If you can self-motivate yourself to be in shape, then you can get other people in shape. You just have to actually learn the trade. But you can self-motivate. That's the number one thing. So anyway, when COVID happened, a lot of us trainers ended up actually coming out of the whole thing doing better, and I have other things in the works right now, and once things get a little bit more established, maybe we could do another one of these, because I'll have an even bigger thing to tell people, hopefully within the next couple of months. And
so are you doing some virtual training, like, I guess over, are you doing any of that?
No, I know I do no virtual training. That was one of the things that a lot of clients were really getting aggravated about, was because a lot of trainers only wanted to do virtual training. And I don't care what anybody says. There's nothing like having an actual someone there with you, teaching you, and training you and doing what you're doing. It's hard virtually. And I understand the trend. I get, people are doing these virtual classes. And now when it comes to fitness, when it comes to exercise and working out, I'm extremely old school, because my coach, Keith Nautel, who still holds several records in the nation as far as powerlifting and Olympic lifting. But my coach, Keith, always was very, very raw and basic with training and stuff. And there's a lot of other things like functional training and different stuff that I do, but I'm very grounded with training, and there's no tricks involved. Like, there's no special pills that I tell people about to take. It's like, you want to get in shape, you have to work.
So what is your fitness specialty? What areas,
believe it or not, I right now weigh year round, I bounce between usually around 170 and 180. I used to weigh almost 270 pounds. My highest was about 260, 263, somewhere around there. And I've lost over 100 pounds in my life and been able to keep it off for the last 15 years now. And so I understand, and I can really level with people who are trying to go through a weight loss journey in particular, because I know what it takes, and I did it at 16 years old. And so I'm like, if I had the discipline and the desire to do it at 16, I'm like, these 30-year-old people that come to me and want to lose weight, it's like, if I could do it at 16, you can do it now. You know what I mean? And so weight loss, but I also, like, I've done everything: powerlifting, boxing, Olympic lifting, basic strength training, you know, all kinds of stuff.
All right. And and how do you access your clients? Like, how do you source them?
It depends. On an independent level, like, I'm always hustling. Like, sometimes it's as simple as sending somebody a Facebook friend request. You have no idea how many times I've talked to people randomly on Facebook and they ended up training with me. Okay. And you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's what I do, but that's what I do. You know, I hustle, you know what I mean? So, and it especially irritates me when you're trying to talk to somebody on a certain level and they think you're trying to hit on them and stuff. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, stop trying to flatter yourself here. I was like, I have not said anything remotely close to that. I'm like, I'm trying to talk business here. But, you know, it's as simple as social media, having a presence on social media. You have to be willing to talk to people. You can't be shy and hide away. You have to be, you're selling yourself. When you're personal training, you're selling yourself, you know, so you have to be okay with talking to people, but you have to deliver. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't deliver results, people are not going to want to train with you. You know, they're not going to hang out with you just because you're a nice guy, you know, so.
Oh, so do you create meal plans for your clients?
Yeah. Yep, I do. It's something back when Vent was Gold's Gym, back when we first started, when I first started, in 2009, when it was Gold's, you could write out a meal plan and hand it to a client, no problem. When they became corporate, when they switched to Vent and everything became very corporate, they didn't really want you doing that anymore. So I remember one time, I'll never forget this, when all the rules were changing and they were telling us, like, they were trying to, at one point, like, this is the verbiage we want you to use, this is how we want you to talk. And I'm like, look, I'm like, come on. I'm like, listen. So one time they were saying you can't tell somebody what to eat. You can only make recommendations. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget this. I'm sitting with this girl, and her name was Lauren, and she's sitting across from me, and we're at the trainer's desk. And my supervisor is walking up to me, and he overhears what I'm doing. And I'm going, okay, Lauren, I recommend you eat 4 ounces of protein at this time of day. I recommend that you, and I just kept on saying, like, but I was giving her a meal plan, but everything. And I looked at the guy, and he looked at me, and I was like, you said it's all about the way we say it. I'm like, all right. I was like, I'm not breaking any rules. I'm like, these are all recommendations. So anyway, and also another way to pick up clients is to have a sense of humor. Okay, don't be stiff. Okay, you got to be loose and make the workouts fun. You know what I mean? Don't make them challenging, but make them fun. And if you're at a commercial gym, lots of times there's a funnel system. Like, you know, somebody will come in, they'll get an introduction to the gym. Then they'll meet with the training supervisor or whatever, and then they'll try to sell them, you know, on personal training and stuff. But I'm all about the hustle. Like, I actually, like, enjoy, like, getting out and, like, talking to people, you know what I'm saying, and trying to meet new people and help them ultimately, you know. And it's there's nothing like, you know, your passion and doing well and helping people and being able to make a living doing it. So no complaints. So
how do you track your fitness goals?
My personal ones or ones for other people?
Other people. Yeah, you and yours.
Well, for mine personally, they're all up here. Like, everything I need for myself is in my head. Like, I don't write anything down for myself anymore. No, I have a book filled with workouts, you know what I mean, that I'll look through once in a while, and then I'll do some stuff like that. But anything, like, if I know how, like, my caloric intake, I know how much water I'm going to have every day. Like, I know my regular diet, so I don't need to write any of that stuff down. But when it comes to other people, and again, I don't force anything on people too. That's another thing. People think trainers are really pushy. I'll ask if they want to come and train. I'll say training is hands down. You know what I mean? Of course I'll do that. And then I'll offer, do you want help with your nutrition? Do you want help with a meal plan? If you don't, I'm not going to force it on you, you know, but if you do, you have to be willing to work with me. You know, you have no idea how many times I've tried to sit down with people and tell them you got to cut X, Y, and Z out. Oh, I can't do that. And I'm like, then you're not going to reach where you want to be. I'm sorry. You know, right. I'm not going to lie. I can't lie to people. I don't want to sit there and, like, I was working with a girl one time that told me, my other trainer at this other gym told me that I didn't have to diet as long as I trained. And I looked at her and I was like, that's called job security. I was like, that means you're never going to get results and you're going to keep going back to him. I was like, he wasn't trying to help you. I was like, he was just working with you, so you pay him. I was like, I'm not going to do that. And I said, so here's what you need to do. And I would tell her, you know what I mean? Like, this is what you got to do. And
all right. So back to your, that's great with your business and stuff like that. So I want to know what in your entertainment industry, what was the most, craziest or memorable moment that you had in your industry that something happened to you?
Oh, man. All right. I mean, there's probably 20 stories going through my mind right now between professional wrestling and music. I have met some unique people, to say the least. Like I've met some very, very strange, and the film industry. You know, these people are very spacey, I think is the right word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think part of it, especially with music and film, I noticed that I think a lot of it is the creative mind, because creative people have told me that I'm the most grounded creative person they've ever met. They're like, you actually, like, you're not spaced out. I'm like, you know? So many people that I've met are like that. They're very spacey. And I think what it is I think it's the creative mind constantly working. So they're talking to you, but they're thinking about 15 other things because they're, you know what I mean? There's always so much going on in their mind. I think it's hard for them to like really like get a grasp on it all. So they become like spaced out almost. But and what was the question?
No, what was the most craziest thing that happened to you? Like it on the set or something had to happen. Something had to happen that you didn't think that was going to go right.
Like I said, there was a lot. But I think the craziest thing, okay, now, I'm. Some people are gonna know what I'm talking about. Other people, I might open up.
Okay.
I might open your eyes up to something. Okay. Me, there was always a lot of speculation. Okay, between myself and friends of mine and other people in the industry that I knew on how do I say this lightly, on the elite people in the music industry. We always had speculation on what really went on. And I'm not going to, say too much here, but, the music industry is very controlled. And when I was going out to LA one time to do a recording, a video shoot, and some other stuff. And this was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And I get out there and I get out to LA, and the guy that I was supposed to be meeting with calls me, and he says that, and there was two guys I was supposed to be meeting with. There was the one guy, and then there was another guy who was going to be doing the video directing and bringing me to the studio to record and like all this other stuff. The one guy calls me and he says he's not there, that he couldn't make it. And I'm like, dude, we've been talking for like the last 6 months and planning all this. I was like, and now you can't make it? He's like, but so-and-so is there. So he's going to meet you here, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. So I go and I meet with this guy. He walks into the bar. So we had a couple of drinks, and I had a couple other people there with me. It wasn't stupid. I brought people with me. And so we go, we record the record and everything. We go to the studio. Great studio session. It was awesome. They were calling me the machine because I was just one thing after the next, just right in the booth. I was in the booth for 5 minutes, and then I was out. And he was like, one take shake, man. He was like, we got to mix it now and all that. So I literally spent 5 minutes recording that night.
Wow.
And I did the whole thing in one take. And so that's an exaggeration. Maybe it was about 10, but that's with layovers and like all these other things. So anyway, so the next day we're going to do the photo shoot and the video shoot. So as soon as I get on the set, I looked at my friend and he looked at me, and I just looked around at the way everything was set up. And I was like, the speculation's over, man. I was like, I think this is definitely for real. And there was a certain, I don't want to give too many details, but there was.
We want to hear the details, Luca.
Say again? What's that?
We want to hear the details.
All right. Well, there was a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol on the scene,
yes,
to say the least, and a lot of provocative stuff.
Yes.
And I had no problem with that because I know it's music. I know it's the industry. I know we're shooting the video. And first thing he says to me is he comes up to me and he goes, I don't work with sober artists. So, and I looked at him and I kind of looked at Jim, and Jim looked at me. That was my friend that was there. And I was like, well, So I had a couple of drinks and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't touch anything else, you know, and everything from the lighting, the way that the cameras were set up, like the types of equipment they were using, the things that they were saying. I was doing things purposely in the video. Okay, those of you listening who kind of have the idea of what I'm talking about right now, I was throwing up certain signs and gestures and things like that during the video to see what kind of reaction I was going to get from these people. And they loved it. Everything I did, they loved.
Wow.
Oh, I love it. No, do that again. Do everything you just did. Do it. And I'm like, and Jim's watching all this go down, and I'm watching, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me. And this was, like I said, the first. I had speculated this was the first real experience we had with this. And then, you know, they wanted me to, you know, spend the night with their women and like do all these other things.
Oh, Lord.
And I looked at the guy and I was like, listen, I was like, I didn't tell you this when I first got here. I want you to understand something, brother. I was like, I'm not interested. And I pointed at my forehead and then I pointed up. I was like, I am not interested in that side of the industry. I was just like, I know what's going on here. I was just like, okay. I was like, I'm not stupid. I was like, I know what the deal is here. I was just like, okay. I was like, and I'm not. Needless to say, when I got home, I didn't hear from these people again. So I got all the stuff I did. I got my video. I got all that. I got everything I did. They gave me what I paid for, but I did not hear from them again after that.
Well, I guess they were looking for something else that they wanted from you, but you know, you weren't playing that.
Yeah, well, they wanted. It was an initiation process, is what it was, and I wasn't going with the vibe, and so once he realized that, like, then he understood, like, okay, like. Yeah. So
this guy's a serious guy here.
Well, it was like I said, there's not too many details there. I left a lot out, but that was one of the weirdest experiences I ever had. And then, like, in pro wrestling, like, I could go on for hours about some of the stuff that happened.
Wow.
But
give us something that crazy that happened that you didn't expect. Because I remember one guy interviewed and he said that he was on this set that was moving and he didn't know he fell off a couple times.
Well,
he fell off the set and they had to try to get it balanced because they made it look so easy, but it wasn't. So
well, we had the ring break a couple of times. Like, so if you want to talk about something that you didn't expect to happen. This was actually really early on. I was probably about 13 when this happened, and this was like right at the beginning of wrestling, and it was one of the first times I ever saw something happen that I was like, oh crap. And it was on a Saturday morning, and we're all wrestling and everything, and there was one of the older guys. His name was Hollis, and he was my tag team partner in this match or whatever, right? And I noticed that the ropes were really flimsy on this one particular day. And I'm watching everybody going back and forth, hitting the ropes and stuff. And I'm like, these ropes look weird. Hollis, who weighed about probably close to 300 pounds at the time, went and hit him, and the rope snapped. He went down and landed like on the back of his head, like on the apron. But when you watch the video, when he hits the ropes, he looks fine for a second, and then all of a sudden, bam! When he went down, his butt went up in the air, and he did like 3 somersaults. And luckily, he walked over, and he was just going, oh, just rolling around. I'm like, bro, are you okay? He's like, oh, I'm good. He was like, oh my God.
I guess you guys must have been checking those ropes on a constant basis.
Well, when we got the next ring, we made sure that we checked them every day, like they were tight.
Wow.
And everything. So that was one of the it was funny and kind of crazy. There's other stuff, like a lot of other stuff that, but some of the stories are just too long.
That's okay, but that's a good one though. That's a good one. You going back on the ropes and rope snaps, that's your worst fear. Like you would think that yes, you're going bouncing on them, but you're not thinking that it's gonna break. They look pretty durable, but I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, well, not in that ring.
So there's any, can you tell everybody your social medias and any last shout outs you want to give to your people?
Yeah, absolutely. My social media, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Luca Brassy fans or just Luca Brassy. Also, facebook.com/Brassy's World. Twitter, you can find me at Luca Brassy. Instagram at Brassy Luca. You can find me on SoundCloud under Luca Brassy, Reverb Nation under Luca Brassy. You can also buy my music on iTunes, or excuse me, Apple Music. Apologize. But you can get that. Just look me up, Retroactive, the EP. It's out now on all platforms. You can find it on YouTube and everything. And shout outs definitely, first of all, to you, DBoss. Thank you very much again for having me. I really appreciate your time and your energy and your production and your services.
Thank you.
Another great thing about you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And shout outs to my mother and father, mom and dad, and my aunt and my grandmother who are no longer with us. So shout outs to them. They're looking down on me. You know what I mean? They were the two most recent losses that I've had, and they were pretty tough. But yeah, everything's good now. So I mean, things are going well. And so yeah, shout outs to my friends Crystal, my buddy Tony, and his wife Stephanie. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now.
Well, we're gonna bring you back when you say you have your new thing with your fitness, and just let me know so we get an update. And Luca's very special to me because he was one of the first people that we did when I did the show way back. Oh my god! But
was that the live one that we did when I came out?
No. That was the one you came to Toronto, and then there was the first one you came in through New York.
Okay, I got it. I was back when I was even at the other house still. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I had the green. I had the lime green hat on. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that.
And your glasses. Yes. And your famous saying is "Say pow."
Yeah. Yep. That's still my saying. Pow. Pride over wealth.
And then a lot of people thought you were Pitbull. That was remember.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that's the thing is, like, with the kind of music I make, like, especially this last album, Retroactive, like, I listened to it straight through the other day. I was on YouTube, and I just looked up my stuff, and I was just listening to the whole album straight through. I am kind of the style of music that I do is kind of categorized in, like, the Flow Rida, Pitbull, like, type of vibe. Even though I'm not a huge fan of either one. I do like Flow Rida. I'm not a big fan of Pitbull, but... You know what I mean? That's neither here nor there. When people said that to me, they're like, "How do you sound like?" And I'm like, "Let me guess, Pitbull." And they're like, "I take it you've heard this before." And I'm like,
"Yes." Well, yeah, you do. But anyways, I do want to thank you again for coming and coming on. We're gonna look forward to see when you're coming with your big surprise with your other business. And also, I do want to thank the viewers out there for watching Real Life Matters. Follow me, follow Luca Brassy. You see all the information there on the screen and stuff. So just follow us. Stay tuned. Just keep everything going. Keep the vibe. So bye for now.
Thank you, pal.
Uh-oh.